A family charter or family constitution often forms the bedrock of family business governance. But what are they? What goes into them and how do you get started? My name's Russ Hayworth, and in this video, I'll answer all of those questions for you. A family charter is a non-binding agreement between family members on how they want the business to be operated. How do they manage the family's interactions between that business, and how do they go about making certain decisions? So, for example, one of the things that you could discuss whilst putting together a family charter is who can own shares in the business. Is this bloodline only? Are spouses allowed to own shares in the business? Are there certain requirements that need to be met before joining the family business, for example? All of these can be set out within a family charter, but it becomes so much more than a document when you consider the conversations that are happening in order to construct the family charter. What I mean by this is that there is so much more value in the discussions that you're having as a family when agreeing who can own shares, discussing and having debates around should spouses be allowed to own shares, should anyone just be able to work within the business, for example. The value you get out of those discussions is going to be so much more than just putting a document together. So, whilst the family charter is often considered a document, it is actually the result of very, very productive and meaningful discussions between family members around that family business. You may be discussing things about your relationship with the business that you've never discussed before. It may be stuff that is generally understood throughout the family, but has never been documented. For example, why does the business exist? What is its purpose? What values do you want to be demonstrated within that business? And if things do start to go wrong, how do you start to resolve conflict? All of these can be included within a family charter. But as I say, it's the discussions themselves that add the value. I'm often asked if I have examples of a family charter that people can use within their own family. And my advice to them and my advice to you is going through the process of having those discussions yourself is far more valuable and far more likely to be implemented than if you were to use a copy and paste job from another family who have gone through and done that work. So, how do you get started in putting together your family charter? The first thing is to understand what it is you're trying to achieve by having a family charter. If it's to stop one person's particular behavior, then maybe the family charter is not the way to go. If you're looking for a quick win where you can just document everything over the course of a weekend, sign it off and put it in a drawer, the family charter is not the way to go. It may be that you need an external facilitator to come in and help you with having those discussions, somebody who has experience of having those discussions with other families. Importantly, a family charter or family constitution is not meant to be a legally binding document. It is also not meant to be something that is a once in a lifetime exercise that then goes in the drawer and gathers dust. The value of the family charter is in, firstly, the discussions that are held in pulling that document together. Maintaining that value also involves discipline as a family to ensure that you're discussing it at relevant intervals, that it isn't just signed and left in a drawer to gather dust for the next 20 or 30 years. It's important to understand that everybody needs to be engaged within this process, and it can't be dictated by one person what the views are of everybody within that family system. So if you are having a family meeting and there's a discussion point of the business on there, that may be a good point to raise the suggestion of introducing a family charter. And it shouldn't change or completely derail anything that's already happening within the business. It's much more of a way of capturing and documenting how it is that you are operating this business. A family charter can take 6 to 12 months, perhaps even more, to come to fruition because the discussions that are being held are very important discussions. And each of you may feel slightly different about certain matters, and having the discussion in an environment where your ideas can be challenged but you feel safe is a fantastic way to start discussing these things. Having a family charter in place can also help give more direction to your board. An example of this is if you are very keen as a family to ensure that the business actively contributes to your local community, communicating that with your board via something called a family council, which we will come on to in another video. Communicating that to your board gives them the information they need in order to make strategic direction. That doesn't mean that everybody on that board gets to see the family charter, because it's generally kept at a family level rather than at a board level. But if there's important things in there that need to be articulated to the board and those responsible for running the business, it's a great way to be able to do that too. So if you are looking to get started, please feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be happy to give you some pointers. And if you found this video useful, please subscribe to my channel and you'll get my future videos directly to you. You may also find the podcast that I host, the Family Business Podcast, of use. There's many different episodes that are recorded on this subject matter. Until next time, take care.